Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with crank.com and with that metalstation.com out of the US. Today I'm getting to have a chat with Autumn from doom metal band, and you probably call it atmospheric black metal as well. Forever Autumn. Thank you for joining me, Autumn.
You're welcome. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, it's really nice to come across your music as well. I'm been getting into doom metal madly the last year or so. I've always been into doom metal, but it's kind of a genre that I've been getting really lost in. So, first off, can you give the listeners and the watchers just a brief rundown of the history of Forever Autumn, kind of how you got started and up to?
Sure. Let's see. Well, we started back as a solo project in late 2000. I started writing songs for the first Forever Autumn release, and by 2001 I released kind of like a tape slash CD made at home sort of thing, and I sent it all over the place, and we ended up getting a lot of feedback in Europe. Mostly I was played on a radio station in Siberia, which was really cool. And we proceeded to do a bunch of I proceeded to do a bunch of home recordings and things like that. Couldn't afford a studio at the time until about 2005 when we recorded Waiting for October. And that was the first big studio album. And I had a friend, Brian Coolis, playing guitar with me at that point. He's not in the band anymore, but John McGrath plays cello. And he plays on more of the up-to-date last 10 years albums or so.
Yeah,
and now it's now.
It's been like 21 years now. It must seem like a whole lifetime with the band. And the one thing I'm liking about your band and the doom metal sound is that you're not afraid to take risks with your sound as well. And I noticed on this one, you've gone more ambient, atmospheric black metal as well, which is really cool.
Yes, yes, we have. It was, I like to talk about this, so I'll give you a little bit about the EP. I had always had kind of a fantasy of having my own black metal band, but there weren't many like-minded people in this area, and I was frustrated with lots of things, which is why I started as a solo project. But I felt like for a long time I wanted to visit the idea of doing a black metal album, but it wasn't quite enough material for a full album. And I used to think that it was really ridiculous for people to make EPs. Like, why make an EP when you can make a full album? But now I realize that's all I wanted to say, was just those 3 songs. And in a way kind of proved to myself that I'm still metal, while at the same time expanding on where Forever Autumn goes and things that we can do.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about your songwriting process then for this latest release, Hail the Dark Forest, which comes out 3rd of September?
Yeah, I can. Well, for this, I was writing the songs for a while, started recording in about September of last year. Things got a little tough, and I started to also incorporate more people. Aaron Stainthorpe from My Dying Bride is on the EP as well, so we worked together and had a great time. And the song process, I had been putting together a lot of really cool electric riffs and awesome metal stuff for a little while. I started to stitch them together. And at first I was trying to stay with the whole satanic black metal thing, but I rapidly realized I was just trying to push it out, and it wasn't really me, and it was too labored. So I started to rewrite the songs from what makes more sense to me and what usually drives Forever Autumn as a whole. And that's where these came from. And I'm pleased with the results.
Yeah, well, what was recording and production like? When did you start working on this? Because if you started September last year, I dare say there would have been was there any difficulties getting into a recording studio? Did you do it at home? Who'd you work with? Tell us a little bit more about that process.
Yes, it was difficult to get in a recording studio. So I did it all in my makeshift studio, where I actually recorded the last album, Howls in the Forest at Dusk. So this one was redoing that. I did have Robbie Beyer mix it with me, went to his studio, and then Jack Control at Enormous Door did the mastering. But I did most of it myself. John came in to add his cello parts. Aaron and I worked remotely over the ocean and had a lot of back and forth and a lot of good things to say. I was trying to incorporate a drummer at the time, and his schedule didn't really work with ours, and he ultimately couldn't do it. And that's one reason it took since September, because there were a couple months of like waiting for the drummer. And when that finally didn't work out, I just decided I was going to do the drums myself. And that's why you hear more of like a Boran sort of Forever Autumn Celtic feel to it than you do the big black metal drums.
Yeah, no, it has got a really great feel to it. How did Aaron get involved in this? How did you get him on board?
I asked him.
Yeah, that simple. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, we've been friends for a while, and I know that when Howls in the Forest at Dusk came out, he really liked a couple of the songs on there, and we had been chatting back and forth saying that he would like to be involved in something like that. And I told him that right now I'm working on this black metal thing, but if you want to be involved, like there'll be a great place for you. I had at least one song with him already like ideal for a part, and he agreed, and we had a great time, and I don't know, solidified more friendship, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the track that he appears on is the first one, if I believe. It's the listless pacing of the haunt. Can you tell me a little bit more about that track?
I can. That track is a little more related to kind of my living space right now. Where I am, I don't have a lot of room to really pursue my work, both art and music, and everything is kind of crowding in, and oftentimes I feel like I'm just pacing like a ghost in this place, looking out the windows and trying to figure out like, how do I get out of here?
Yeah, that's cool. So, do you have any plans to play live? How's it going over there in the US in your local area? I know I've chatted to bands like from all over the world, and everyone's kind of at a different place in this fucked up world we're in at the moment.
Yeah.
How are things looking for you all over there where you're at?
Things are supposed to be opening up, but I haven't tried to get us a show yet. It's usually pretty hard in this area for us to find places to play. We tend to have to travel because in our little nestled section of Berkshire County here in Western Massachusetts, there isn't much of a scene, especially for Blackened Doom acoustic metal stuff. So we tend to travel for that, and I haven't started to look into that. I'd really like to play again because I love performing, and it's been so long. We were going to play the Maryland Folk Metal Festival, but it was pre-canceled due to pandemic and things like that. So hopefully we'll go back next year and ideally get something fun to play in between.
Yeah, I understand that too, because in my local area, I'm in like a country area as well, and it's really bloody hard to get metal bands here. I tried to get a metal band, a big thrash metal band, to come to my local area here. They were doing an Australian tour. We were in the process of getting it, but we couldn't get a single venue anywhere in any of the pubs, any of the clubs that were willing to put on a metal show. But they could put on a USBJ or somebody playing somebody else's music. It really,
Oh, of course.
I don't understand that kind of things. I'd rather go see someone play some original music and have a night out than see somebody play somebody else's music average to crap.
That's what it's like here. You like the top 40s cover band can do pretty well, and the jazz trio at the wine bar can do pretty well. But when it comes to like real original passionate music, there really is no place for us here.
Yeah, and the metal community is such a great community. I've gone to so many bloody shows, and I've not encountered any problems at any metal shows, but I go to, like, you go over to a dance club, and I've had friends who do security at these kind of places. And I interviewed this guy from Scotland once, and he said his friend who did security, the worst job he ever done was at an Elton John show. So,
wow.
Yeah, it goes to show you how good the metal community can be as well. And
the metal community is a very good community.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about the influences that kind of influence you, inspire you as a musician as well? Kind of what gets you, but what are you listening to likewise?
I'm trying to, it starts with a little bit of a story. When I was in art school, that we had a project to kind of make a presentation and list things of your various artistic influences and things like that. I don't really pay attention to a lot of artists. So I listed a lot of things that are important to me and to my work, which is what I'm going to do here. So doom metal is, of course, very close to my heart, and I listen to a lot. I am a big black metal fan. I have a collection of strange old Russian gypsy records and old school goth stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm influenced kind of by those, but I'm more influenced by the natural and preternatural worlds around me, and I have easy access to go walk into the forest and just wander around, and I collect bones and sticks and rocks and feathers and things that I can find, and I incorporate these into my visual works as well as I do into my musical works, and they both complement each other in a way, and it's just drawn from a deeper spirit place than anywhere else, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. And you can kind of feel that in all your music as well. You're kind of connected with the forest and the natural world as well. I do feel that a lot through your music, and I was guessing that was going to be the case as well.
I'm glad it comes through.
Yeah, it definitely does come through. And as a cover art for that, who done the photo? That's a really
That was
black
me.
metal looking cover. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was amazed how that turned out. I did the photo. I'm a photographer too, but that was just done on my cell phone because my digital camera is so obsolete compared to telephones now. But I set up my tripod and I dressed myself up and I lit some candles. Everything is actually very pre-planned and has subtle meanings to it in that photograph, but it also just looks badass black metal, and the bullet belt makes it, I think.
It does. And you kind of, when you see this, if you hadn't listened to any other material, when you see the cover of this, you can go, oh, okay, and I'm in for some black metal here. And I do like how you have made that jump and you've done this real atmospheric black metal and really pushed yourself musically wise as well compared to your other albums. Your other ones are great too. I love listening to all of them as well, but jumping into this as well, being I'm mad black metal person as well, it was a lot of fun seeing the growth and progression, and you not taking being afraid to take those risks and experiment with your sound and do that full black metal album. Must have been also quite a cathartic experience as well, saying that you were a black metal fan for quite a while.
Sure was. Yeah, and I would expect in the future we will have more albums that return to the acoustic doom side of Forever Autumn, but I envision more kind of side tracks in the future, different experiments with different ways, and maybe full-blown, full doom black metal albums or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
anything.
Well, they're good. I've heard a couple of real atmospheric black doom metal albums that just sound bloody unreal, and this one's up there as well. So thanks a lot for the album, and congratulations on it. Look forward to when it drops 3rd of September. Everyone to get their ears around Hail the Dark Forest. Autumn, this has been an absolute pleasure to chat with you about your music. Thank you very much. Horns all the way from Australia. Do you have any last words, shout outs, or thank yous you'd like to add in there, my friend?
Just thank you for having me on the show. It was a wonderful conversation, and I hope that the EP does well.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone grab the Hail the Dark Forest EP, 3rd of September. Put it in your stereo. Turn up bloody loud. The neighbors are going to want to hear it. Thanks a lot, Autumn. You have a lovely evening.
You're welcome. Bye.
Hey, legends. How the bloody hell are you going? If you like that interview and you want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. Keeps me doing what I'm doing and make you a bloody legend. Ripper. Too right, mate.